Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. So today we're going to be looking at three action figures that are 12-inch scale action figures, and these all depict Obi-Wan Kenobi. And I've actually customized all three of these in various ways. These two I totally swapped out the entire body with a classic collection G.I. Joe body. The original figures that came with these were sort of that Hall of Fame style, sort of clunky G.I. Joe body, and in terms of the articulation, it was somewhat limited. And then on this one over here, I actually swapped out just one arm and the two legs. This one actually has electronics and sound effects, so I couldn't really swap out the entire figure without sacrificing, losing those particular features. So we're going to walk through each of these, and I'll show you in terms of what the outfits are like and the head sculpts and so forth. So we'll start over here with this episode 1 version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And again, I swapped out the body with a classic collection, and the neck attachment is not perfect. I don't recall exactly what was going on with the original head sculpt. I think it might have had the neck molded in such a way that it went down inside of the torso. So I might have had to sort of chop that part off in order to attach it to the classic collection body. But ultimately, I was able to accomplish it, and I added in a lot more articulation. And if you're interested in seeing what the articulation is like on classic collection G.I. Joes, I'll put a link in the description to my video that I posted recently with the 1/6 scale articulation guide. In that video, I cover the classic collection body and show what the articulation is like on it. So in terms of this figure, obviously he comes with a lightsaber, and because I upgraded the body, he's actually able to hold it much better with two hands and actually take on some pretty dynamic poses. And the lightsaber has some decent details on it as well. So I can show you in terms of the handle. They did a pretty good job in terms of painting in the various details. And the lightsaber blade has that sort of translucent quality. So very cool accessory for Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obviously, he wouldn't be Obi-Wan Kenobi without a lightsaber. And in terms of the head sculpt, I think they did a pretty decent job on it. It does include some rooted hair elements too, the sort of Padawan braid, and also this part back here. I think this originally had like a little tie on it, but I think that sort of fell away at some point. But in terms of the likeness, it's not exactly like Ewan McGregor, but it's close enough, and I think I'm fairly satisfied with the head sculpt. And in terms of his outfit, there's a lot of really cool details. I'd say the cloak on this is not quite as good as the one on the older Obi-Wan Kenobi. Something about the hood, it just doesn't really rest up on his head very well. So it looks fine when it's back like this, but like once you try and put it on his head, it just doesn't sit very well. So it's funny because this one actually sits on there almost perfectly. So I'm not sure why they didn't just reuse that same design when they did this one. And in terms of the rest of the figure, some really cool details. I'm going to go ahead and remove this cloak just because I want to show you some of the other details on the outfit underneath the cloak. So with the outer cloak removed, you can actually see some of the cool details on this. I really love all this detail on the belt. As you can see, he's got like little pouches and so forth on this. And I also like this detail right here. That looks very cool. Also, they did an amazing job on the boots, these Jedi boots. So I think those look really amazing. And in terms of all the layers of clothing and everything, it's pretty cool. And this is how he appears when he's actually in the duel versus Darth Maul. They all kind of get rid of their outer cloaks when they're doing that three-way lightsaber battle. So very cool figure. Very happy to have that. And I'm glad I did the upgrade on the articulation because he actually moves around much better than that old clunky Hall of Fame style body. So the next figure we're going to talk about is this one in the middle. And this is not the first release of Obi-Wan Kenobi. This one was sort of like a consecutive release, and it came with a number of interesting sort of accessories. He didn't come with a outer cloak. However, he came with some accessories like this training remote, which I feature with one of my Luke Skywalker action figures. I've actually shown this in a previous video. And he also came with the blast shield helmet. So again, I have this on one of my Luke Skywalker action figures because it's appropriate to have it that way. And also came with this version of the Luke Skywalker lightsaber. Also Anakin Skywalker's lightsaber. And this one comes with sort of a not a translucent blade, but actually a glow-in-the-dark lightsaber blade. So I'm not a big fan of these, actually. I much prefer the sort of translucent plastic. I just think as a display piece, it just looks much more accurate. But it is nice to actually have some different accessories come with this version as opposed to the original. And in terms of the body, again, I upgraded it. This one actually added the sort of gung-ho grip hands. So these have the articulated fingers on them. And I like the head sculpt. It's very cool in terms of actually looking like an older Alec Guinness. So very cool. He also has a belt, and there's actually a little clip where you can clip on the lightsaber and hang it off of his belt. So that looks pretty cool. And outfit's pretty basic. It does have lots of layers of fabric, so it actually looks pretty cool. And this one actually comes with brown boots and brown pants, which makes it a little bit different from the other version I'm going to show you, which has black boots. This one actually has a higher collar on the inner shirt, and also the sleeves are somewhat shorter than the other version I'm going to show you. But the main part of the outfit is actually pretty much identical on both of these figures. So very cool looking version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. And the last version I'm going to show you actually has the sort of electronic sound effects and so forth. It's pretty cool. This one came with the outer cloak. And this one actually came in a set with an electronic version of Darth Vader. And they actually speak lines from the movie, and the lightsaber blade actually lights up. So I'm going to demonstrate that for you so I can show you. You just hit a little button on the side of the figure here, and he speaks lines of dialogue, and the lightsaber blade lights up.
Mos Eisley Spaceport. You will never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious. The Force will be with you. Always. You better get indoors. The Sand people are easily startled, but they'll soon be back, and in greater numbers. You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
So yeah, that's all the lines of dialogue that he speaks. And pretty cool. Only 4 lines of dialogue, but still, I do like the light up effect on the lightsaber, and also the various lines are taken straight out of the movie. So that's very cool. And again, the inner part of his outfit is pretty much identical to the other version of Obi-Wan Kenobi. The major difference is the color of the boots. You can see he's got black boots, and also the sleeves on the sort of inner shirt come down farther, so it looks much more natural. And again, in terms of the upgrade I made on this one, I swapped out the arm, and I retained the original hand on this from the Hall of Fame style body, just because it looked more in scale with the molded hand that's molded to the handle of the lightsaber. But the rest of the arm is actually a classic collection style arm, and the legs also are classic collection style. This allows for much better articulation, including side-to-side movement with the feet. Definitely worth doing the upgrade on all 3 of these, just in terms of the articulation is so much better than the original. That's all I have for you today. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more videos about Star Wars action figures in the future, think about subscribing to my channel, because I will be covering a lot more of this stuff in future videos. Until next time, I hope you're having a great day, and may the Force be with you. Thanks for watching.